Good morning, everyone. Lisa Gustafson with Cool FM Live, and we're here today at Buena High School for this very important Cochise County Law Day. I'm here with Nilza Flores, who is the Cochise County Court Administrator, and she's going to tell us why today is so important and why every year we are out here celebrating this with you.
Yes, every year we celebrate Law Day on May 1st. It's a great way to highlight the role of law in the American society. Most importantly, we're here to recognize the students who participated in our Law Day contest and recognize their efforts on their winning graphic arts, posters, and essays. So we're very excited. We're happy to be here at Buena, and we look forward to the ceremony.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is everyone's going to get their awards. All the students that were winners will be given their awards, and then we'll dive into the ceremony. You can bet that Cool FM Live has the full live broadcast of this. Thank you so much, Nilza.
Thank you, and thank you for being here today.
Will everyone please rise? The Buena High School Junior JROTC will present the colors. Please remain standing for the national anthem performed by the Buena High School Choir.
Right. Left. Color guard. Hold. Left. Face. Freeze it. The colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Center. Face. Forward. Arch. Left. 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 Right.
You guys did a good job.
Left. Color guard. Hold.
Nothing worse than speaking as public as singing in public.
Hold. Colors. Raise hands. Arms. Order. Arms. Center. Face. Color guard. Hold. Center. Face. Forward. March. Left. 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 Right. Left.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Buena High School's principal, Nicole Young. Sorry I parked in your parking spot today.
Good news, I saved it for you. Good morning, students, families, honored guests, and our valued partners from Cochise County Superior Court. On behalf of Buena High School, it is my honor to welcome you to our Law Day ceremony. Today we come together not only to celebrate achievement, but to recognize the power of ideas, civic understanding, and the voices of young people across Cochise County. We are especially grateful to our partnership with Cochise County Superior Court. Your commitment to education, civic engagement, and the future of our community make opportunities like this possible. And we truly appreciate your collaboration in honoring our students. Law Day is more than just a date on the calendar. It is a reminder of the principles that shape our nation: justice, equality, and the rule of law. It challenges us to reflect on how laws impact our daily lives and how they continue to evolve over time. That spirit of reflection and innovation is exactly what this competition represents. Students from across Arizona were invited to explore an important question: how have laws or rights changed over the past 250 years, and what impact do those changes have on American society? Through drawings, writings, presentations, students examined the past, interpreted the present, and imagined a future. For our high school students, this meant diving deeply into the law or rights of their choosing and creating thoughtful presentations that not only explained its evolution, but also its significance in shaping the world we live in today. This is not easy work. It requires critical thinking, research, creativity, and most importantly, it requires a willingness to engage with complex ideas about fairness, rights, and responsibilities. Today, we celebrate the students that accepted that challenge. Each of you demonstrated not only an academic skill, but also a deeper understanding of what it means to be an informed and engaged citizen. You took abstract concepts like laws, rights, history, and brought them to life in meaningful ways. And that matters, because the future of our communities, our state, and our country depend on individuals who are willing to think critically, ask questions, and participate in civic life. To our students being recognized this morning, your work is impressive, but even more importantly, your voice matters. The ideas you explored are the same ideas that will shape tomorrow's leaders, policymakers, and community members. To our families and educators, thank you. Your encouragement, guidance, and support make achievements like this possible. To our partners in the legal community, thank you for helping our students see that law is not just something written in books, but it's something that lives, grows, and evolves through people. As we move forward with today's ceremony, let us take a moment to appreciate not only the accomplishments being recognized, but also the purpose behind them. This is about more than a contest. It is about preparing the next generation to understand their rights, to respect the rule of law, and to contribute thoughtfully to the world around them. Thank you again for joining us today, and congratulations to all of our outstanding students.
Okay, I'm told that we're going to hear from Justice Elena Cruz here in a few minutes. But that would mean I would read her introduction really slowly, and that would probably bore all of you to tears. So I want to take a few minutes and recognize a member of our justice community that has spent his entire life helping bring justice, both as a lawyer and as a judge. He's a 1975 graduate of this institution back when dinosaurs ruled the earth. I'd like to take a moment for us to recognize and applaud Judge John Kelleher. Judge Kelleher has been a judge for 16 years. He's done some of the hardest work that you can do as a judge. Believe me, we know what he's had to do, and he's done it with dignity and respect for our community. He's helped improve the quality of families and lives in our community for 35 years, longer than you want to admit.
44.
But he's counting.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, please. Thanks. Yeah, you got 4 minutes.
It has been a great honor for me to represent Cochise County, my home. I thank all of you for your friendship, especially my close friends. I have wonderful memories to take with me for the rest of my life, thanks to you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Justice Elena Cruz currently serves on the Arizona Supreme Court. Prior to her appointment, she served nearly 8 years in the Arizona Court of Appeals. On that court, she presided over appeals in every area of the law, including complex commercial litigation, criminal, family, juvenile, tax, unemployment, and other administrative matters. Her service as an appellate judge was preceded by her time as the presiding judge of the Superior Court in Yuma County. While she served in that capacity, administering the business of the courts countywide, have a seat, it's fine, it's okay, go ahead. Justice Cruz presided over serious criminal cases, drug court and restitution court, a victim restitution program she'd established in her county and presided over as judge pro tem until her appointment to the Arizona Supreme Court. During her term as a Superior Court judge, Justice Cruz also presided over juvenile, family, civil, and criminal matters. Justice Cruz earned her Juris Doctorate and her Bachelor of Arts from the University of Arizona. After clerking at the Pima County Attorney's Office, she began her practice as a prosecutor in Yuma County. Later, Justice Cruz practiced in criminal defense, eventually venturing into solo practice, and served as judge pro tem for the Cocopah Indian tribe. In 2008, Justice Cruz became the first woman and first Latinx elected Superior Court judge in Yuma County. And in 2025, she became the first Afro-Latina appointed to the Arizona Supreme Court. In 2018, Justice Cruz was appointed to serve on the Arizona Supreme Court Task Force on Delivery of Legal Service, where she led the work group on alternative business structure, and the legal paraprofessional certification was born. She was a zealous advocate for the implementation of the program and still promotes it throughout the state. Justice Cruz continues to work to advance access to justice throughout the state by serving on the Task Force on Public Communications, a hallmark of the Arizona Supreme Court. For more than a decade, Justice Cruz contributed to the development of the law internationally by serving as a professor of law teaching trial advocacy in various regions within the Republic of Mexico. Today, in addition to her service on the Arizona Supreme Court, she also serves on the High Court's Commission on Victims in the Court, Advisory Committee on Evidence Retention, and the Committee on Judicial Education and Training. She is a mentor to law students, legal paraprofessionals, and judges. And we're going to hear from her in 1 minute. Buffering. She's muted. Oh, okay. Technology, solution to and cause of all of our problems.
Thanks everyone for your patience. They're just working on some technology on the side of our guest host. Once we get that figured, once they get in contact with her, we'll be able to get started.
Or she has a gap filter on. She's, yeah. I'm always ready. I'm often prepared. I can just start reading the Constitution.
It's totally written in everyday language.
Every day is 1789.
That's right, up the top.
Which way trying to plow through Shakespeare's stuff. What's my agenda?
What's next on the agenda is the keynote and then the award presentations. Perfect, because you're about to do that.
John, you want to say some more words?
I think Rich does. There she is.
Oh, here we go.
All right, looks like we've got everything going now.
Good morning. Good day.
All right, I'm gonna take that as a no.
No, we can hear you now. Go
We can
ahead.
hear you now.
Okay, perfect. And can you see me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
All right, well, I can't see you, so that's gonna be an interesting experience for me. But no matter, I'm glad that we're able to connect. So good morning, everyone. Good morning to the Buena High School students and teachers, Superior Court judges, honored guests, community leaders, and members of the media, and especially to our Law Day contestant winners. Thank you for being here. It is truly an honor for me to join you today. I want to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to the event sponsors and organizers for making this gathering possible, but also for allowing me to be a part of it, even from a distance. While I'm not physically present with you, please know this: my commitment to this moment and to each of you is no less strong. In fact, if anything, being remote reminds me of something deeply important. I come from a rural community, as many of you may know, here in Arizona, from Yuma County, and I understand what it means to feel far from the center of power, far from the courtrooms, from decision makers, from the places where people believe important things happen. And yet, I know this is true. Importance is not defined by geography. The voices in small towns matter just as much as those in big cities. The experiences of rural communities are just as vital to our justice system, and our Constitution was written for all of us, not just those who happen to be closest to the microphone. So even though I'm joining you through a screen today, and even though I can't see you and I wish I could, I want you to know that I see you in other ways. I understand. And I value this connection. And I value this time that we can be together. And I believe deeply in the importance of engaging with people from every part of our state. So as I speak, I know that I speak for the entire Arizona Supreme Court when I say this, because the 7 of us agree that this is what our system of justice demands. And that's why we make our very best effort to travel our entire state and meet with people directly. Just a week ago, we were in the northern part of Arizona and were able to have great interaction from people in Coconino County and really appreciated that. So we hope to visit you sometime soon. Today we gather to celebrate Law Day, a day that invites us to reflect on the role of law in our lives and the enduring strength of our Constitution. This year's theme asks us to consider how the Constitution serves as a foundation that brings differences and unites us as one nation. That idea is captured in a phrase many of you have likely heard and heard a lot here recently: e pluribus unum, out of many, one. It's a simple phrase, just 3 words, but it carries an extraordinary responsibility and extraordinary meaning. Because we are indeed many. We are many backgrounds, we are many cultures, many perspectives, many experiences, and yet the Constitution calls us to be one, not by erasing our differences, but by giving us a shared framework for living together with fairness, dignity, and with respect. Let me tell you something I've learned through my journey in the law. The Constitution is not just a document you study in a textbook. It's not just something lawyers argue about in courtrooms. It is something you live. It lives in the way we treat one another. It lives in the choices we make as citizens. It lives in whether we speak up or we stay silent. And perhaps most importantly, it lives in whether we choose to engage. When I was younger, I
did not grow up thinking I would become a judge. I didn't grow up surrounded by lawyers or legal scholars. I did not see people who looked like me in positions of judicial authority. Like many students, maybe like some of you listening today, I was still trying to figure out where I fit. But I did have something important. I had curiosity. I asked questions. I paid attention. I noticed when things felt unfair, and I spoke up. I spoke up a lot. And over time, I began to understand that the law is one of the most powerful tools we have to address these moments, those moments, to bring fairness where there's imbalance, to ensure that every person is treated with dignity. But here's the key. I didn't get there alone. Teachers encouraged me, mentors guided me, my community supported me. That's another way we live out e pluribus unum. We lift each other up. That is why Law Day matters, because it gives students from kindergarten through 12th grade the opportunity to explore law and justice in a way that is creative, thoughtful, and personal. It's not about memorizing legal terms. That is not what this is about. It's about asking questions. This event should have led you to ask yourself questions. What does justice mean? What does fairness look like? How do we resolve our differences? What responsibilities do we have to one another? And the Law Day contest invited you, each of you, to engage with those questions. Through essays, artwork, and other forms of expression, you didn't just learn about the Constitution, you interacted with it. You interpreted it, and you made it your own. That is powerful, because when you do that, the Constitution stops being something distant, and it becomes something personal. So to our contest winners, congratulations. Your work stood out, not just because of your talent, but because of your willingness to think deeply about complex ideas. You demonstrated something essential to our democracy, the ability to reflect, to analyze, and to express your voice. But I also want to recognize every student who participated, because participation is where civic engagement really begins. It begins the moment you decide, I want to understand, I want to think about this, I want to be part of the conversation. That decision matters. And remember, it doesn't have to come with you coming to the table having the answers. I want you to remember that, and I'm speaking straight to your high school students right now. You high school student, you don't have to have the answer. You just have to be willing to engage in the discussion. Let's talk about civic engagement. Sometimes when people hear that phrase, they think it means something big, something formal, something reserved for adults or professionals. They think it means running for office. Oh, civic engagement, you have to be a senator, you have to be a congressman, or arguing a case in court, being an attorney or being a judge, or writing legislation. And yes, those are very important forms of civic engagement, but they're not the only ones, and they're not even the most important. Civic engagement happens every day. It happens when you ask questions about how your community works, when you participate in a classroom discussion, when you help a neighbor, when you stand up for someone who is being treated unfairly, when someone's being bullied, when you learn about your rights and you respect the rights of others. These everyday actions may seem small, but they are the building blocks of a healthy democracy and a healthy society. Because democracy is not something that exists only in government buildings. It exists in communities, it exists in schools, and it exists in you. Now, I want to be honest with you. Engagement isn't always easy. It requires effort, it requires listening, which is hard sometimes. It requires patience, especially when you're listening to something that you may not necessarily agree with. And sometimes it requires courage. The courage to speak when it could be easier to stay silent. The courage to listen when it would be easier to just dismiss and tune somebody out. The courage to participate when it would be easier to just disengage and shut down. But this is exactly what the Constitution is asking of us. Because the Constitution does not promise we will always agree. What it promises is something more important, a system for working through our disagreements peacefully and fairly. That is the bridge that it provides. And think about that bridge. On one side, there are differences, opinions, beliefs, experiences. On the other side, there is unity. Not uniformity, but shared commitment. The Constitution is what allows us to cross from one to the other. But bridges only work if people are willing to walk across them. This is where you come in. To the students here today, you're not just observers of our system. You are participants in it. Right now. Not later, not someday in the future, today. Your voice matters now. Your ideas matter now, and your engagement matters now. You have the ability to shape conversations, influence your communities, and contribute to the ongoing story of our democracy. And that story is still being written. Let me give you an example. Every time a jury is called, ordinary citizens are asked to step into an extraordinary role, to listen carefully, to weigh evidence, and to make decisions that affect real lives. That is civic engagement. I have had the privilege of teaching quite a bit in the Republic of Mexico, teaching judges, lawyers, and some of them prosecutors, defense attorneys, and they are fascinated. They don't have the jury system like we do, but they are fascinated by our system. And they always ask me, why? How is it that you invite people from the community who may not be experts in certain areas to listen, to hear the law, and to render a decision? How is it that you do that? And it took me a long time to think about this question before I came upon the answer, and it is self-governance. It is our commitment that we can govern, we as a group can govern ourselves. So we as a group decide matters of heavy importance. And that's civic engagement. Every time someone votes, also, they're shaping the direction of the community. That is civic engagement. Every time a student speaks up in class, asks a thoughtful question, or challenges an idea respectfully, that is civic engagement. These actions are how we live out our promise of the Constitution. And let's not forget another important aspect of this promise, responsibility. The Constitution enshrines our rights, but it also reflects our responsibilities to one another, to treat each other with fairness, to uphold justice, to contribute to the well-being of our communities. This is what binds us together under E Pluribus Unum. Not just a shared identity as Americans or as Arizonans, but a shared responsibility. To the educators here today, thank you. You are doing more than teaching subjects. You are shaping citizens. And you know this, and this is why you do the work you do. I know that. You're helping students develop the skills they need to think critically, to engage thoughtfully, and to participate meaningfully in society. That work that you do is essential. To my colleagues in the judiciary, thank you for your dedication to upholding the rule of law with integrity and with fairness. Public trust in our system depends on the work that you do every day. And that trust is strengthened when we connect with communities we serve, especially young people who are just beginning to understand how the system works. And to everyone here today, thank you for being part of this shared commitment to justice, because that is what this is, a shared commitment. Not something that belongs to one group or to one profession, but something that belongs to all of us. Before I close, I want to return to where we began. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. This is not just a description of who we are, it is a challenge, a call to action. It asks us, will we engage or will we withdraw? Will we listen or will we divide? Will we contribute or will we stand on the sidelines? The strength of our nation depends on how we answer those questions. So today, I ask each of you, especially the students, to take that next step. Stay curious, ask questions, learn about your rights, understand how the law affects your life. But don't stop there. Engage, participate, be part of something larger than yourself. Because when you do, you're not just learning about the Constitution, that's when you're bringing it to life. The future of our democracy is not something that will simply happen. It is something that will be built by people who care enough to be involved. People like you. Out of many, one. Let's live up to that promise. Let's build those bridges. Let's engage with purpose, with respect, and with a commitment to justice. Congratulations to our Law Day contestant winners. The Arizona Supreme Court is proud of you. I am proud of you. I am inspired by you, and I am hopeful because of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Cruz. I'd like to introduce our Chief Court Interpreter, Veronica Olivares. She's also our head law librarian and a crucial asset for our justice system here. Please join me in welcoming her.
Good morning. I'm here to announce the 2026 Law Day contestant winners. We're going to start with the posters. Kinder through 5th grade. First place, Alexa Rodriguez from Greenway Elementary School. Second place, Nevaeh McLimberg from Greenway Elementary School. Third place, Germán Morales, Greenway Elementary School. Now the graphic arts and photography, 6th through 8th grade. First place, Adriana Harris, First Baptist Christian Academy. Second place, Julian Zerbel, First Baptist Christian Academy. Third place, Michaela Stewart, First Baptist Christian Academy. Graphic Arts Photography, 9th through 12th grade. First place, Sofia Sanchez from the Center of Academic Success, number 2. Second place, Aileen Medina, Center for Academic Success, number 2. Essay, 6th through 8th grade. First place, Mingsuk Che from Colonel Smith Middle School. Second place, Ayana Johnson, Colonel Smith Middle School. Third place, Gianna Bays, All Saints Catholic School. She couldn't be here with us today, so Mr. Mustard is accepting her certificate. Essays, 9th through 12th grade. First place, Alicia Allison, Buena High School. Second place, Chloe Hallison, Buena High School. Third place, Janina Staggs, Buena High School.
My turn.
They're going to read their.
Oh, they're going to read them. Okay. Let's see who's going to go first. Why don't you announce it?
Okay. Now the essay winners are going to read their essays. We're going to invite Ming Sok Che to read his.
Like, just read it. The Rule of Law and American Dream. In the summer of 2024, my American dream became crystal clear, born out of a tragedy that struck my family in Georgia. My cousin was shot and killed. I've always wanted to be a doctor to help people, but this terrible event deepened my resolve. I am now driven to save the loved ones of others too. Before moving to the United States, my perception of this country was shaped by sensationalized media reports, news of school shootings, protests, illegal immigrants, kidnappings, and drugs. When my father, who was a civilian working with the U.S. Army in South Korea, received an order to move to the U.S., I was nervous, anxious, and terrified by what I had seen on TV. Since I have never lived in the U.S. before, I questioned the safety of justice of the nation, wondering, is there no justice in the U.S.? Does the American dream still exist? However, I've been living here for 7 months now, and I can confidently say I love it. It is amazing how people from all over the world, different cultures and different backgrounds, live all together as a citizen to keep this country better than any other ones. They all came to America and wished their American dream would come true. What makes this happen? I think it is the law, which is for people. American law is strongly based on the amendments in the Bill of Rights. Contrary to the negative news, I feel secure here and I can trust the police system in the U.S. is strong and well established. The police caught the man who shot my innocent cousin. The killer was randomly shooting in the street while driving. My cousin was unfortunate to be there. Wrong time, wrong place. Sadly, I'm still watching news that some people randomly shoot in the street. But I'm glad that our law enforcement are doing their best to protect people from those villains. As a student aspiring to be a doctor, I've found that American education offers fair opportunities, equality, mental and physical safety, and a healthy environment by law. In North Korea, the country itself doesn't have a social class as a communist, but they do have a social hierarchy. So you don't get fair opportunities if you are born in a low social class family. That's why North Koreans are escaping their own country for their freedom and better life opportunities. As of early 2026, over 34,500 North Korean defectors have resettled in South Korea, and number is still growing. Thank God I wasn't born in a country like North Korea. Living here has changed my perspective of the future and how the rule of the law can facilitate my career. I understand now that American law provides a stable environment for me to grow and succeed. It protects hard work and effort, ensuring that if I innovate or invent a cure for a disease, my intellectual property is protected. In conclusion, the rule of law acts as a pillar that supports everyone's American dream. While my cousin's tragedy brought me pain, it also gave me purpose. Hopefully, one day I become an ER doctor and inventor who can save many lives preventing unexpected tragedies in my country. Because I'm supported by a school system that provides a strong foundation, I'm confident that I have the opportunity to succeed and eventually fulfill my purpose in this country.
Ayana Johnson.
The rule of law in the American dream. The American dream means something different for everyone. Personally, the American dream means having the same opportunities as others, such as education, a good job, and freedom. However, laws can impact your ability to achieve the American dream. To begin, laws affect your ability to achieve your dreams and get opportunities by every so often making people equal. For instance, laws should not target specific people based on how they look or where they come from. This year, in 6th grade, I learned one of the oldest and most complete written legal codes was Hammurabi's Code, established by King Hammurabi of Babylon around 1750 BCE. His legal code set a stage for America's laws, making the American dream possible. Not only has Hammurabi's Code set a stage for America's laws, but it also influenced many other countries. However, laws can limit people from achieving the American dream. Some laws can limit people by discriminating against them and holding them back. Even though America has improved with laws and discrimination, we still need to work on fair laws that are for everyone. In some ways, America is somewhat like the early republic and late empire of ancient Rome, which created a huge wealth gap between the patricians and plebeians because of its political instabilities and, most importantly, income inequality. Not all of our laws negatively influence our ability to attain the American dream. Furthermore, laws can create challenges depending on how they are written. Laws that produce harsh punishments, reduce access to resources, or create a high bar to economic participation are main legal challenges to the realization of the American dream. These challenges make it hard for many to start small businesses and find a stable job. Challenges of starting a business and finding good jobs make it hard for underclass citizens to find housing and access education. creating barriers that prevent citizens from achieving their vision of the American dream. Moreover, laws provide a stable environment necessary for the American dream to exist in society. For example, some of those laws are affordable housing, which makes sure that families are able to have a safe base to build wealth, fair wages, prevent the exploitation of labor, and help make sure that hard work leads to financial success, and tax credits provide a safety net that allows low-paid workers to invest in their futures. These measures make it less difficult for people to live in the economy and pursue their goals. Personally, my American dream is to be able to live in a comfortable financial state in a nice community, preferably the suburbs, get a good education, and to be able to provide opportunities such as education and freedom for my family. A challenge that I may face is people getting in my way and casting doubt on my potential. Another problem is our country's economy. Some of those problems in the country's economy you might be aware of is the skyrocketing prices of valuable goods such as gas, food, water, and electricity, and the expenses of housing. In order to avoid those problems, I will have to work 110% harder than an average person. By continuing to stay disciplined and refusing to let the economy's prices or negative pressure belittle my success, I believe that I could turn this ambitious idea of the American dream into reality. Overall, people have a different understanding of the American dream. My opinion of the American dream is being able to have the same opportunities as others, a good education, job, and freedom. And those laws have a big impact on whether you get to accomplish your version of the American dream.
Mr. Mustard will read Gianna Bass's essay.
Thank you to all the justices and the officers of the court for this opportunity, and to the staff of Buena High School for hosting this event. I'm proud to be reading an essay for my student who wasn't here today, and I'm proud to once again represent All Saints Catholic School, where civics education and participation in democracy is an essential part of our advanced curriculum and our philosophy. The American dream is the idea that anyone can have a good and successful life if they work hard to obtain it. Today, it is much easier said than done. Some people don't have the same opportunities as others. Money can be a huge problem, and society puts pressure on what success should look like. These problems show that the American dream is getting harder to reach for many people. To help people achieve the dream, we can improve education, create equal opportunities, and make wages more fair. One way that laws can help people achieve the American dream is by improving education for everyone. When students have access to good schools, helpful teachers, and the right resources, they are more likely to succeed in the future. Good education helps people learn important skills and have better job opportunities. However, not all schools are the same. Some schools do not have enough books, updated technology, or safe buildings. Also, some schools don't have enough funding which supports school programs like arts, sports, or tutoring. Because of these problems, students in these schools might not get the same education as others, making the American dream harder to achieve. Another way to help people achieve the American dream is by making sure everyone has equal opportunities. People should not be held back because of their race, background, or how much money they have. Discrimination and inequality can make success much harder to accomplish. If everyone is given the same choices and opportunities, more people can reach their goals. Finally, fair wages and financial support can help people achieve the American dream. Many people work hard but still struggle to afford basic things like housing, food, and health care. This makes it difficult for them to reach their goals. If jobs paid enough and living costs were more affordable, people would have a better chance to succeed. Helping people become financially stable is a key step in making the American dream a reality. The American dream is something that many people hope to achieve, but it can be difficult because of problems with education, unfair opportunities, and low wages. By improving schools, ensuring equality for everyone, and helping people earn enough money to live, more Americans can reach their goals. The American dream may not be easy, but with these changes, it can become a reality for more people. Thank you.
Alicia Allison.
The interpretation of the phrase, the American dream, has evolved immensely since its coining in 1931. Originator James Trussell Adams associated the expression with the idea of a better and richer life for everyone in his book, The Epic of America. However, since its publication and the continuous development of the United States, the term has come to mean much more to many Americans. In modern days, people often emphasize financial success, stability, the ability to travel, and personal happiness. Despite its change in meaning, one thing remains constant. The American dream suggests that anyone can achieve success through hard work. However, access to justice, including legal representation, fair courts, and legal knowledge, can play a role in how accessible the American dream truly is to all Americans. For individuals to have fair opportunity to pursue the American dream, access to justice should be universal. One notable barrier to achieving this goal is a lack of legal representation in the United States. According to Nora Freeman Engstrom, a legal scholar and professor at Stanford Law School, there are plenty of lawyers in the United States, yet people's ability to get access to justice is actually pretty dismal. Her husband, David Freeman Engstrom, goes on to explain that this issue is caused by expenses. He says, legal services are really expensive. Anyone middle class or below is priced out of the market for legal services that cost, on average, $300 an hour. Even going as far as hiring professional assistants to navigate the legal system alone can be expensive, leaving low-income citizens at a huge disadvantage. Without legal representation, people may struggle to find solid grounding after financial hardships, like handling bills they cannot pay, eviction cases, or debt. Despite Gideon v. Wainwright establishing the right to an attorney in criminal cases, most civil matters such as property disputes or family law do not get this protection. This leaves those who cannot afford a lawyer to represent themselves in court, making it far more difficult for those with disadvantages to secure housing, employment, and ultimately the American dream. Besides legal representation, fairness of courts is a significant factor in achieving the American dream. The entirety of the U.S. legal system was founded on the idea of equality and democracy. Inconsistencies in how courts operate can leave people in far worse positions than they started in. Things like bias, underfunded public court systems, and overwhelming amounts of cases can lead to unequal treatment of Americans. David F. Levy, former dean of Duke University School of Law, says that Americans need to have faith in the independence, fairness, and impartiality of our judges because they look to our courts as a place where they can get a fair shake, whether their complaint is with the government or a business or a neighbor. American citizens are more likely to trust a system that is perceived as independent and fair. Even with hard work and the desire for better, unfair court systems can cause individuals to lose opportunities, housing, or even education because of unjust outcomes. A 2018 research publication says, when the courthouse doors remain open to help everyone, regardless of social or economic standing, even the wealthiest individuals and the largest and most powerful corporations can be held accountable. Additionally, basic legal knowledge is essential and comes with understanding one's own rights and responsibilities. David Freeman Engstrom says, one issue is attribution. Many Americans don't even necessarily know that the problem they have is a legal problem in the first place. And that's really important to keep in mind. They don't even know that they should resolve a certain matter by going to court. With basic knowledge of the legal system and laws, people are able to make informed decisions and avoid situations that could impact their future in negative ways. However, this type of information is not always easily available for everyone. In underfunded schools or disadvantaged communities, many Americans tend to lack this knowledge. Without legal education, individuals are more susceptible to signing unfair agreements, missing important deadlines, or failing to assert their rights. For example, Nora Freeman Engstrom says, these are people with rights that are violated but never vindicated. And it's exactly as you say, It's the person who has the uninhabitable apartment but never seeks to enforce her right for habitable housing, or the person who's jerked around by the insurance company and never gets the claim paid and ultimately shrugs her shoulders and gives up, or the woman who's being abused by her spouse and never gets that domestic violence restraining order that she needs. In order to seek justice in the legal system, one must understand how to find it, and that can mean learning how to navigate the system. While the American dream is now associated with opportunity and financial success, the accessibility is not equally available to all Americans. Achieving justice has a big role to play in determining who can really pursue this dream. Unequal access to legal representation can limit someone's ability to defend themselves. Inconsistencies in the court system can ultimately lead to unfair outcomes. Lack of legal knowledge prevents many citizens from learning how to navigate an otherwise confusing and complicated system that is meant to protect them. Altogether, legal problems have a way of cascading onto one another, which leads to continuous barriers between the American dream and American people. Without better access to legal resources, this dream remains unrealistic and ultimately just a dream.
Chloe Hilassen.
Equal justice, equal opportunity. The American dream promises that anyone in the United States can achieve success through hard work, determination, and opportunity. However, achieving this dream depends not only on effort but also on access to justice. Legal representation, fair courts, and knowledge of one's rights are essential for protecting opportunities and overcoming obstacles. Without these, individuals may face legal barriers that limit education, employment, and financial stability. Access to justice affects someone's ability to achieve the American dream because it protects people from unfair legal outcomes, ensures equal opportunity through the courts, and empowers individuals with knowledge of their rights. Navigating the legal system can be overwhelming, and having access to qualified attorneys makes a critical difference in outcomes that people may experience. Lawyers help individuals navigate the complex legal system and protect their rights. Without legal support, people are more likely to face harsh penalties or wrongful convictions that may harm their future prospects. The Supreme Court case, Gideon v. Wainwright, guaranteed that criminal defendants have the right to an attorney even if they cannot afford one. This ruling recognized that fairness in the legal system depends on equal access to counsel. Legal representation protects individuals from outcomes that could block education, employment, or financial stability, all of which are essential factors in the pursuit of the American dream. The court system serves as a critical safeguard, ensuring that laws are applied fairly and that constitutional protections are upheld. They enforce these protections to resolve disputes and allow citizens to challenge unfair or discriminatory laws and policies. For example, Brown v. Board of Education declared racial segregation in public schools unconstitutional, opening doors for African American students to access quality education and improving long-term economic and social mobility. Accessible and fair courts ensure that discrimination does not prevent individuals from competing for success, making the American dream more attainable. Understanding one's legal rights is another essential factor in achieving the American dream. Providing the knowledge needed to defend opportunities and challenge unfair treatment. Navigating one's rights empowers individuals to advocate for themselves in situations involving employment, housing, and civic participation. People without legal knowledge may unknowingly give up their rights or accept unfair treatment, which can limit opportunities for upward mobility. Legal knowledge is especially important for marginalized or low-income communities who face systemic barriers that can prevent them from reaching their goals. Knowing the law provides the tools needed to protect opportunities and pursue success. Economic inequality continues to shape who can effectively utilize the justice system. Wealthier individuals can afford experienced attorneys and legal resources, while low-income individuals may struggle to navigate courts due to cost or lack of time. These disparities can influence outcomes in eviction proceedings, employment disputes, or other legal matters. When access to justice depends on wealth, the promise of equal opportunity is weakened. Expanding legal aid programs and public defender services is essential to making the American dream achievable for all citizens. Ensuring all Americans have access to justice is a crucial step toward making the American dream attainable for everyone. Lawyers protect individuals from unfair outcomes, courts enforce equality, and legal knowledge empowers people to advocate for themselves. While hard work and determination remain important, they cannot overcome systemic legal barriers alone. A fair and accessible justice system allows all Americans to pursue education, employment, and stability without being limited by unfair treatment or inequality. By providing legal support, fair courts, and civic education, society strengthens the promise of opportunity, equality, and success that lies at the heart of the American dream.
Janina Stacks.
How accessible is the American dream? In the United States, the idea of the American dream is built off of the belief that every individual has the equal opportunity to succeed with grit, determination, and hard work. In reality, true equality all depends on whether people can interpret and understand the law and get support needed to defend their rights. Access to the justice system plays a vital role in determining whether or not a person can truly obtain this dream. However, due to the systematic hurdles that the legal system provides, such as risk of debt, complexity, and unequal access to legal resources, such as lawyers, limit many people from achieving success via the American dream. The inefficient and complex justice system is one of the many significant barriers preventing people from achieving this life goal. Many legal processes are often difficult to understand, especially when an individual has no legal training or representation. From submitting important paperwork to understanding legal jargon, meeting deadlines can easily overwhelm someone and can discourage people from immediately pursuing their cases. Another unfortunate trait of the legal system is its timeliness. Cases can take from months to years to be heard and even longer to be settled. This long wait also results in people having to spend copious amounts of money just to cover the costs of strung-out cases. The system only tends to benefit those people who are financially comfortable and can afford experienced lawyers. On the other hand, people without these resources often find themselves struggling to navigate the process, limiting their ability to protect their rights and improve their lives. Beyond the systematic hurdles that the justice system provides, the lack of clarity leads to another substantial problem, which is major financial loss due to misunderstood contracts. People without sufficient legal knowledge are more susceptible to entering shading agreements that include but are not limited to hidden fees, high interest rates, or misleading terms. These contracts often lead to significant debt, trapping people in cycles of financial crisis. Without the proper legal guidance, people may not realize these risks before it's too late. This financial burden also makes it more difficult to build wealth, pursue education, or invest, which are all key components to the American dream. The most important thing to know about these circumstances is the unequal access to the justice system completely undermines the fundamental principles of equal opportunity. The justice system is purposely pitted against the unfortunate. Gideon versus Wainwright is a prime example of this, as the Supreme Court ruled that under the Sixth Amendment of the Constitution, the accused shall enjoy the right to speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of state. Quoted from the U.S. Constitution Amendment 6. In this court case, an individual named Clarence Gideon was forced to defend himself without a lawyer while he was being accused of a crime, meaning he did not get this right that was promised to him. Even with this rule being set in place, everything is still not equal in the legal system. Wealthier people can afford the best lawyers, while poor people often have to use overworked public defenders who are provided to them. This implies that your wealth matters more than what is actually fair, and it makes it harder for certain groups of people to achieve the American dream. Obstacles in a legal framework such as financial risk and the discriminatory distribution of legal sources takes an ample role in how easily people can access this dream. The complexity of courts, the dangers of unfair, inequitable powers, and differences in the treatment towards people all are a contributing factor. In order for the American dream to be more than just an ideal, people's access to justice has to be fair to all individuals. Without sincere reform, the promise of equal opportunity in the justice system to the people of the United States stays out of reach for many citizens.
Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. Before I give my closing remarks, I'm going to ask you to take a moment to recognize folks that are absolutely integral to what we do as judges, as law enforcement officers, prosecutors, clerks of the court. I'd like to take a moment to recognize our court security guys, our clerks and women, our clerks of the court. Come on out. She's hiding back here in the shadow in case somebody comes running through the magnetometer trying to get me. Thank you so much for everything that you do. I really appreciate it. We really do. We couldn't do this without you. My good friend and colleague, Joel Larson, Judge Joel Larson, in a meeting once talked about you guys, because whenever somebody goes into the court and they're not happy about something, it's you guys lost my paperwork, or you guys lost, didn't get the order out to appear or something. And the public, I think rightly so, doesn't distinguish between the judge and the clerk who works in the court. We're all you guys, but us guys are all working to provide you with access to justice in a fair, fast, and efficient way. And I want to thank everybody that helps us do our job every single day. This year's theme for Law Day is the American dream and the rule of law. So we gather today to speak about two ideas that have defined our nation from its earliest days. Two ideas that, like twin pillars, hold up the grand structure of our republic, the rule of law and the American dream. Now, these are not just phrases we repeat out of habit or nostalgia. They are promises, living, breathing commitments that each generation inherits, tests, and must renew. The rule of law is the quiet guardian of our freedom. It is the understanding that no one is above the law and no one beneath its protection. It does not bend to power, nor does it yield to popularity. It stands firm, impartial, and enduring. And because of it, a child born into humble circumstances has the same rights before the law as the most powerful among us. That's no small thing. In much of human history, justice was something that was bought, inherited, or seized. But here in America, we dared to declare something radically different, that rights come not from kings or governments, but from a higher source, and that the law exists to protect those rights, not to grant them or to ration them. And because we built a nation on that foundation, something remarkable happened. The American dream was born. Now, the American dream isn't a guarantee of success. It never has been. It's something far more precious than that. It's the guarantee of opportunity. It is the belief that if you work hard, play by the rules, and refuse to give up, you can build a better life for yourself and your family. It's the landscaper who saves enough money to send his kids to college. It's the small business owner who starts with a single storefront and builds something that serves an entire community. It's the immigrant who arrives with little more than hope and determination and finds that in this country, the freedom to become something more. But let me tell you something plainly. The American dream cannot exist without the rule of law, because when laws are ignored or selectively enforced or twisted to serve the powerful, opportunity begins to disappear. When people lose faith that the system is fair, that justice is even-handed, that effort will be rewarded rather than exploited, that's when dreams begin to fade. The rule of law is what keeps the playing field level. It ensures that success comes not from who you know or how much influence you have, but from your character, your effort, and your willingness to take a chance. And that brings us to a challenge that we must face with clear eyes and steady resolve. Every generation is tempted in one way or another to take shortcuts, to believe that we can achieve justice by bypassing the very principles that define it. But history teaches us that whenever the rule of law is weakened, even with the best of intentions, freedom itself is placed at risk. You see, laws are not obstacles to our dreams. They are the framework that makes those dreams possible. Without them, contracts are meaningless, property is not secure, innovation slows, trust erodes, and without trust in our institutions, and trust in one another, the American dream becomes harder and harder to reach. Now, that doesn't mean our laws are perfect. They never have been. But what makes America exceptional is not that we have no flaws, it's that we have the means through our Constitution and our democratic institutions to correct them peacefully, lawfully, together. That's the genius of this country. We don't tear the system down when it falls short. We work within it, we improve it, we strengthen it, and we pass it on better than we found it. And that brings me to you. Because the rule of law doesn't live in marble buildings or legal textbooks. It lives in the hearts of citizens who believe in fairness, who respect the rights of others, and who understand that freedom comes with responsibility. It lives in the small choices that we make every day, to follow the rules even when no one is watching, to treat others with dignity, to stand up when something isn't right, and to insist that justice be applied equally, not just conveniently. And the American dream? That lives in your courage to try, to build, to imagine something better, and then go out and make it real. So the question before us is not whether these ideals matter. The question is whether we will carry them forward. Will we defend the rule of law, not just when it's easy, but when it's hard? Will we protect it, not just for ourselves, but for those who come after us? Will we keep the doors of opportunity open wide so that anyone, regardless of where they start, can rise as far as their talents and determination will take them? I believe we will, because that's who we are. We are a nation that believes in justice, not as an abstract concept, but as a daily practice. We are a people who believe in dreams, not as fantasies, but as goals worth achieving. And as long as we hold fast to those principles, as long as we remain faithful to the rule of law and committed to the promise of opportunity, there is no challenge we cannot overcome, no future we cannot shape. The story of America is not finished. Far from it. It's still being written by each of us in our own way, every single day. Let's write it well. Thank you, everyone. Everyone, please rise. We're going to retire the colors.
Right, left, color guard, halt, left, face, center, face, forward, march, left, 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 right, color guard, halt, center, face, present, arms, order, arms, retrieve the colors, center, face, forward, march, left, 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 right, color guard, halt, center, face, right, face, forward, march, left, 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 right, right.
Are they retired? Looks like the colors are retired. Thanks again, everyone, for coming. Have a great weekend. Have a wonderful day.